was meant to post this last year in April. Oh man, I have commitment issues. Whoops. I did not think I'd be giving a whole example of those commitment issues after my first video. Surely it hasn't been that long. Damn, okay. I have an excuse as to why I took so long to upload, okay, but I'll ramble on about that later. Because right now, hello, my name is Omega, and if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know I'm quite obsessed with my OCs. One in particular currently, but we aren't talking about him, at least not today. I'm sure everyone who makes OCs has their favorites, and a lot of them may have even grown up alongside you. This doesn't apply to every artist or author, but it sure does to me. I have a huge roster of OCs who I barely really think about, and I'd really like to change that. In that pile are 4 of today's main characters, who I'm going to be redesigning and doing a bit of lore dumping on. So if you don't like big ass videos with big ass lore dumps about characters you don't know, this video might not be for you. But if it is, I'm really excited to share these characters and their stories with you. It's actually incredible how much I don't share about these OCs, because one in particular, which we'll talk about later, is literally the most recognizable character that I have. And I can only blame that on myself and the fact that this story is literally a mess. Okay, small tangent here, but I need to talk about this before we get into the meat of this video. Ever since I started making this story and world with all its characters, I went about it in a way that I don't think was very smart. I was like 12, I didn't know a damn thing about planning. Over time, this story has become pretty much a jumbled mess of things. That entire time, I've done nothing but make new OCs, new scenarios, and new enemies, but with no plot relevance to speak of. If anything, this story is severely underdeveloped and badly written, which sucks because it's supposed to be a very long story with deeper, more complex themes. However, I think my skills as a writer right now are dookie. I simply can't write a story like that. I don't feel prepared enough to do it. And I know that's usually what stunts a lot of creators into not writing the stories that they want to. But I feel like I need to get more experience with writing other things and come back to this story in the future. Especially because this story is too important to me, I feel like I need to take a step back after so long. So I've decided to just go over with what I'm confident won't be changing much or at all whenever I decide to come back to this story. But that's enough introduction. Let's actually dive into this whole thing because we have so much to go over today. Let's start with... To start, let's do a quick backstory and overview of this fantasy world I created for context. I have to get you guys immersed, alright? I was inspired by fantasy lands with taverns, mystical lands, floating islands in the sky, places like Hyrule from The Legend of Zelda or Teyvat from Genshin Impact. I'm thinking dusty ruins all over the land, with creatures roaming around like in Dark Souls or Elden Ring. At least that's the basic vibe I'm going for. Magic monsters, creatures, stone structures with some ancient technology, stuff like that. I do a lot of daydreaming and dark fantasy is my default. I wouldn't say this story is strictly dark fantasy, only in certain areas. I've planned on adding different races, a magic system with a bit of complexity, monsters, and societies. I planned on putting in a lot, and I have many old notes and drawings, dating back to 2016. Dude, we're so old. Yes, we are old. Anyway, a time period for where our story is taking place is very modern fantasy. They are advanced, but not in a cybernetic, Detroit become human kind of way. What an example. That city doesn't even look very futuristic, if I'm being honest. What I mean is, you know, nature mashed with some technology, if you get what I'm saying. I'll put up pictures. Hopefully, none of them are AI. It's kind of hard to find human-made art on Google these days. The history of my fantasy world and its main conflict goes like this. In this world named Dyeantria, there are gods who rule over it, each representing a part of the world, like nature, light, time, and whatnot. But one of these gods, the god of dark matter, grew so jealous that it wasn't being worshipped like the others because the people thought it was a bad omen. In its growing resentment of the other gods, it lashed out and forced the god of fluorescence, aka the god of light, to essentially fuse with it to create an amalgamation of them both. With its new power, it chose some of the strongest people in the world and forced them to follow its orders by giving them some of its own power that changed their bodies into soldiers made of dark matter. They are known as Stygian soldiers. Basically, super power enhanced regular people who seem to be undefeatable. Keep them in mind for later. They terrorize the world for several years, until the god of darkness is defeated by a brave hero in a big battle. But the peace only lasted for a while, as the god of darkness would revive after a certain number of years, each time it was defeated by that generation's hero. However, in our current timeline, where our story takes place, the god of darkness is showing signs of waking up many years too early to reclaim its place at the top of the universe, before the legendary hero can be reincarnated to defeat it, and the people in the world are in a panic. What will happen when the god of darkness rises again with no hero around to slay it? This is the basic idea I have. Maybe it's overused, but I like it personally. There are so many ways you can spin a hero story. I hope you guys feel a little more immersed, because now we are going to be diving into the catalyst for the beginning of our story. Someone who I genuinely didn't think I'd be talking about so soon on the channel. I will say I'm going to be a bit more vague when it comes to the next character's backstories to give myself some wiggle room to add in stuff if I have to. So let's meet... Ugh. For those who are totally new, and for the 4 of you who aren't, meet the golden child, my first ever OC, and the face of my entire internet presence, Aura Luna. Now, if you found my art through Instagram, or maybe even Amino, you probably knew Aura before even knowing me as the artist and creator. She is the character ever. I adore Aura, but pretend I didn't say that because I'm actually her biggest hater. Aura was created in 2016. She started off as a Pokemon OC, a Riolu, before she eventually got the design closest to her current one in 2018. Before any other OC, I had Aura. She's been my baby for nearly half of my life at this point. When I was 13, she was 16. When I turned 16, she was 19. It's just been so long. She's like my symbiote, you know? Maybe you don't, and that's okay. This is my first ever post featuring her online. On Amino, my first social media app. They really shouldn't have done that. That was crazy. Why did they do that? Why did they think that that was a good idea? Alright, let me give this a read. I'm gonna try not to cringe. I'm trying, but I don't know if it's working. Okay, so from the title, I'm still trying to make Aura an OC that doesn't look like a Pokemon. And I think she looks great now. I changed her colors to some pastel ones. I hope her colors don't hurt anyone's eyesight, and that the colors look pleasing to your human eyes, okay? Aura is a pretty shy character, so she's kinda antisocial. Yeah, so she was antisocial and shy. What a character description. Riveting detail. These are the 2 images attached to that post. As you can see, this pattern design did stick for a very long time. Yes, she's nude here. No, she wasn't wearing thigh highs. People always assume that, or that she was an MLPOC, probably because of her nose. She's not, by the way. She is supposed to be a jackal. Aura's design isn't really changing much at all. At least the fur pattern isn't. As for her clothing, she never had an outfit that was like her main outfit. Just a bunch of randomly selected stuff that never made sense, especially with the fantasy setting she's supposed to be in. In the background, I'm going to be drawing my OC's reference sheets. As you can see, she looks identical to her 2018 look, just with underwear. I'm really attached to Aura as she is, so I knew she'd only get an official outfit for now. Aura is a traveler and an explorer of some flavor, so for the reworked outfit, I decided it needed to be looser. I always gave her tight pants, but she's someone who moves around a whole of a lot. I gotta give her legs some room. Also, at some point, I decided to give her this jacket, which I really like now. It's supposed to be a callback to this outfit she wore, but I think it fits her personality much better now. Since Dyeantria is a very, very dangerous world, Aura is a very good fighter. She's a muscle in the group, and the leader, though she prefers not to be called that. She uses a spear to fight, and her style of combat is very close range, but with her spear, I imagine she can do some long range stuff too. When I first made her, I heavily based her off of myself at the time. She was shy, quiet, kind of a crybaby. Her personality was basically that she was a soft, sweet, innocent cinnamon roll who could never hurt anyone, but also everyone wanted her because she was so cute and innocent. I don't actually have an issue with this kind of character, but I don't think it fits the type of character I want Aura to be now. For her personality, she will still always be sweet and kind, but she's not antisocial or shy at all. Maybe as a teen or a baby she was, but current timeline Aura isn't. She's very outspoken and likes to include everyone, but she isn't pushy about it. Aura will, almost always, want to assume the best in people and want to give second chances. She likes helping out whenever she can, but she doesn't tolerate anyone's bad behavior. You get one more chance before she socks you in the face. I love her. But I don't actually. I hate her. I really love heroic characters, but I do want Aura to be morally great in many aspects. Not just because this would make her more realistic, but it's a case of someone who does good things, even if sometimes they have to do bad things for the good of everyone else. Wow, that could imply so much though, like how far is Aura willing to go to save her friends? Or the world? Yeah, I'll have to ponder that later. Her main goal is to essentially find a way to get rid of the Dark God for good. No more heroes reincarnating, no more waking up hundreds of years again and again to try and take control of the world. No more having to live in fear that the Dark God will one day win the looping battle. Now, why is she so confident that she thinks she can find the answer? Well, the reason she's going out to try and defeat the Dark God is a spoiler for what I know is going to happen in the story. Let's just say that with her being a Stygian soldier, she feels much closer to the situation than others would. Oh, I didn't even mention the fact that she was someone with Stygian soldier powers. My bad. Okay, so Stygian soldiers didn't die off or anything after the Dark God was defeated for the first time. Instead, the Stygian soldiers' powers became dormant. They look like any other person except a few details that give them away. If you were born with Stygian soldier powers, everybody would hate you. Too afraid that those powers will somehow trigger and hurt them. It's a bit hard for me to explain how Stygian soldier powers work at the moment, but what I was originally thinking is that it's an inherited trait that gets passed down based on sex. So like if someone was born male, had the Stygian soldier powers, and they have offspring, and the offspring is the opposite sex, then that child gets it passed down to them. But I'm not okay with how this works now, because I completely excluded intersex people entirely. So how would that work past me? I still need to go back and fix it. Maybe it's a trait passed down randomly. Maybe it's like blood types. I don't know yet. But basically, if people know you possess Stygian soldier powers, you get categorized as dangerous. No matter how nice you are, or how young you may be, or how much you've done towards helping out the community, the majority of people will pretty much avoid interacting with you altogether. This is because of how history has framed the people who were forced to help the God of Darkness. That scars everyone in the current timeline. The story of innocent people taken and obligated to help an evil force has been twisted over time. When the Dark God disappears, the anger society feels is directed at the people who hold the Dark God's power inside them, even if they mean no harm. Aura is a Stygian soldier, as I mentioned, and unfortunately for her, her powers are active, which was incredibly rare, out of her control, and forced her to feel the hate from others much more severely. Obviously, there are more details on her abilities and backstory and why she is one of the first to reawaken her powers, but we have 3 more characters to get through today, so it'll have to wait. For some final information about Aura is her backstory and family. A little heads up, I will be talking about abuse. It's a light description, nothing graphic, but I thought I'd let you guys know. Aura grew up in a very unwelcoming home for her first years. Her mother was neglectful and bordering on abusive. Her father was the same, but in a different way. He never hated Aura. He loved her. That's what he'd say to her anyway. While Aura was growing up, her mother would often see her as competition and was jealous of her. She never wanted a baby, but it was already too late when she decided that. Aura had to fend for herself and learn to take care of herself as well. When Aura went to school, she wasn't treated well either. She was subjected to bullying and harassment constantly. Whenever she could, she'd hide in the infirmary, where the nurse was sympathetic towards her. Aura felt like she needed to be good and get good grades and be nice, because that's what her father would say. And as far as she understood, he was the only one who really loved her at the time, even if he would hurt her sometimes too. Her life wouldn't stay this way for long, as one day she met a boy who changed her perspective on the world forever. And after that boy disappeared from her life, she decided that she wanted to uphold his beliefs and dreams on her own, but not until she could escape her current home. She spent days thinking about how to run away, and during one of her casual strolls in the forest, she met another boy. He was rude and dismissive, but they kept bumping into each other. Each time they spoke a little more, hung out a bit longer, and eventually he'd help her run away from home. Together they became inseparable, and stayed that way for many years. Aura was adopted by a doctor named Vincent, though many called him Venny, and Aura gained a baby brother named Lace, who she adores with everything she has. Aura was finally happy, but her journey isn't over and there are more things to come. That was a big section. I promise the rest won't be that jam-packed, but there is no way Aura can defeat a whole god on her own. She definitely needs help. So let's move on to the best friend who helped her escape her original home.
This has been another tough day. Try to get some sleep. Things will look better in the morning. I'm going to do everything I can to make you happy again.
I'll protect you. Everything is going to be okay. You have to be strong. So he didn't die for nothing, do you understand?
Go away.
So Jake, whom we will nickname Jay, is Aura's the bestie in the whole wide world. No one knows her like he does. He joins Aura on her journey to defeat the Dark God almost immediately without questioning. And he doesn't care that, because of her Stygian soldier abilities, she's considered dangerous. He simply doesn't think that makes her bad at all. He's a ride or die in the most literal sense. He loves Aura very much. No, they aren't romantic. They are supposed to be platonic soulmates. Though sometimes I think too hard, I think too much, and okay, stop. Jay is almost as old as Aura in terms of when I made them. He was made in late 2017, I believe, and he looked like this. I don't know why his ears were so, swollen. Why did he look like a mouse? Much like Aura, his base pattern did not change at all throughout the years, and it still stays the same to this day, with an art style change of course. He's still my little piss bunny. What he did get is a major outfit change, because he only wore a necklace in his first iteration. I think that's a necklace. I don't know. I added that weird little neck thing to most of my OCs. He then wore a scarf. Then he had the decency to put some freaking pants on. Ugh. Why is it always skinny jeans? No hate towards skinny jeans. I just don't think they are a very good look on Jay. He looks stupid. He did appear online briefly when I still posted on Amino, but he was never the main focus of any post. I really wanted to keep his scarf as a throwback to his old design. It was one of the details I kept for a very long time, so it was a must for me. When I tell you I needed this bunny man to have a hood, I mean it so bad. I cannot believe I actually put him in a crop top hoodie for a time. Dude, why is he wearing that? You hoe. Anyway, whenever I design my characters, I always like to think a bit further into who they are, what they would like to wear, stuff that ties into their personalities. Jay is a reserved and antisocial guy. He won't talk to anyone he doesn't know willingly, unless he needs to. So I thought he'd cover up his face to look more mysterious. He totally thinks he looks cool, but I love him. I think I said that before, but I want to hammer that in. I want to give him a little kiss. The journey will probably have Aura and Jay fighting for their lives. So Jay's weapon is a bow and arrow. He's an archer and has incredibly good eyesight, and even greater aim. He can fight in close combat if he has to though. Underneath his hood, which I didn't draw in the reference sheet, but here, he has armor to protect his arms, shoulders, chest, and especially his back, since I think those areas are the most vulnerable to someone who uses a lot of upper body strength. I made his scarf kinda long too, because I wanted him to be flowy and cool looking when he runs around. I love him for the third time. Honestly, his personality isn't changing much. I've always pictured him as someone more serious and laid back. Jay likes being around the people he's already familiar with, but to anyone first meeting him, he can be cold and stoic, maybe even a bit rude and distant. But he's definitely not heartless. He's sympathetic and tries to be understanding when he can, even if he doesn't express it visually. During his childhood, he was raised well for a while until he lost pretty much all of his family in 1 year. He was incredibly close to his baby sister, but she passed away due to a serious illness. Being left all alone scared Jay, and he had no choice but to fend for himself. He became cold and resented the world for taking away everything he had. Sometimes he just wanted to give up completely because of how lost he felt. He also never wanted to get close to anyone because he didn't want to feel the kind of pain that comes with losing people you love. But one day, he met a clumsy little girl his age. He found her annoying, but he never told her to leave him alone. Aura and Jay met when they were at their lowest and grew closer as they kept bumping into each other. Jay didn't plan on staying around Aura for long. He didn't want to get close to her, but after a lot of talking and understanding how Aura's parents were and how Aura was treated by her classmates, Jay made a decision. He told Aura he was going over to her house and he could help her get away. And after a series of events, they succeeded. Jay ended up hanging around much longer than he thought he would. Jay, in the current timeline, doesn't have a goal, mainly because I literally haven't thought about one until now. I didn't realize he didn't have one. So he's kind of just there because Aura is there, which is a little lame to me. That's definitely going to change. I just don't have the answer right now. But I think whenever I get to writing Jay and Aura's relationship, it will be much more interesting. They are close. Yeah, but with everything that's happened to both of them, it makes me feel like they might be a bit codependent, especially on Jay's part. I think if something ever happened to Aura, he wouldn't want to handle any more grief. It might lead him to do something really bad. This is all I'm going to say about Jay because we gotta get into another character who helps these two out on their journey, traveling around the world.
I think all I wanted to say was, it gets lonely. These bandages are the death of all nuance. I'm not just hurting myself, I'm hurting this thing inside me, and it's hurting me back endlessly until there's so much self-loathing I could barely breathe.
Yes, I did purposely spell Jacob like that. It looked too modern to me. I don't know. Don't ask me about it. Yes, Jacob, who we will be referring to as Calder or Cali for his section. He was created, I want to say mid-2018. I remember making him during class while we were watching a video about lightning rods or something, which was the inspiration for this character. He never really appeared online other than some doodle posts I made on my old Instagram account and DeviantArt. Calder is a character who I never expected to have a part in my main story or even be in the main cast. He was just a character who I liked drawing because he was cool, you know? No backstory or anything besides some really vague ideas. This was his first design, and Jesus Christ, that yellow in this image is insane. For the longest time, I could never figure out what he was. He was a demon for sure, but he wasn't like the other characters I had in this universe who were also demons. I redesigned his horns and outfit a bit, but the elements of his original design are still there. I even took inspiration from 2 of his older designs and mixed them together. I actually like him a lot now, but maybe he needs a few tweaks. He might actually be the one character who changes a lot more even after this video. Calder is an inventor also. He isn't a full-blown master at it, but he is very interested in creating new machines to help society. He's also a drummer, a mechanic, a wielder. He's worked a lot of jobs, this guy, and he is pretty good at what he does. He is incredibly cheerful, optimistic, naive, and energetic. Basically, he's a definition of an extrovert. He is the type of guy to try and talk to you if he sees you looking all alone and sad in a corner. Plus, he's super understanding and would probably give someone more than 3 chances, even if they did hurt him before. He's similar to Aura in wanting to believe there is good in everyone, but maybe he's a bit too naive. He gets a nickname Sparky from his friends because of how sunny and bright he is, and also the fact that when he gets super excited, sparks of electricity radiate off of him. He really loves making everyone smile. His energy actually annoys a lot of people, but he doesn't care. He's happy if anyone wants to talk to him genuinely. Also, for whatever reason, I made it a joke that he hated being called fat. Don't know what was up with that, but I'm mentioning it because I remember making that joke a lot, and I decided to you know, give him a little belly in the reference image. I never drew him as fat. I didn't know how to draw fat people back then, so here's just me giving him some tummy. I don't think he'd care if he was called fat nowadays. His weapon is himself, and whatever kind of weird gadget he made for battle that day. Cali is almost all the time tinkering in his room, wanting to make new stuffs to help out his friends or help in battle. Sometimes it goes perfectly, other times it's really bad. He can conduct electricity, and it can come out of any part of his body. I gave him gloves in the Ray-Richt design because he's very touchy. I think he'd accidentally zap his friends going in for a hug, so he wants to protect them. Cali's backstory is hard for me to summarize because, well, I never thought of one before this video. So here is what I've got for now. Cali's origin is unknown. He was raised by who he calls his auntie, a lady who goes by Rebecca Adley. She raised him and her biological daughter alone together. He would definitely describe his childhood as good and comfortable. He was never outright bullied, but a lot of other kids thought his ability to make electricity without any prior training was super cool. When he grew up, he met Aura and Jay, becoming really good friends with them in the process. Aura was quick to match his energy, and thus they became super best friends. How he thinks of Aura is straightforward. Everyone says the same thing about the people connected to Stygian soldiers, but he won't stereotype her that way. She's never been bad to him, so he refuses to let those rumors define her as a person in his mind. Cali's own dream is to create machines to better the lives of people all around the world. But the people are very stuck in the past. They would rather not change what they had already known. Cali is also looking into why he is the only demon he knows who can use electricity naturally. Demons aren't born with the ability to use magic. They have to go to school and train hard to control it. So he's interested in the possibility of discovering his origin. He jumps at the offer to travel around with his best friends. I'm thinking these guys will travel around in a very large machine, but I don't have a good design for it yet. Calder fixes it a lot because they are always getting into trouble, but he doesn't mind. He likes feeling useful. Okay, that's Cali done. We finally move on to our final character for this video, who's my second favorite OC to bully besides Aura. Let's now finally talk about...
All right, way to go! Wow, thanks for letting me play, guys. Let's do it again soon. Maybe we are good friends. Being a best friend is my favorite thing. I have a lot of favorite things, which is actually one of my favorite things.
Look at this guy. He's an idiot. While I was drawing his new design, I couldn't help but remember how stupidly short I originally made him. Look at this old reference sheet I drew for him last year. 4'8"? Oh, bro. At least put some effort into growing. Why are you permanently a gnome? This is Abaddon. I actually pronounce his name as Abaddon, but I think that might trigger some people, so I'll refer to him as Abby. Sorry if how I pronounce his name originally slips out. Don't hurt me. Abby was created in late 2020, and he actually appeared online when I made my second Instagram account. Here are those stories. Damn, I really hate reading my old comics. Why am I so cringe? I don't want to. I will read the captions on these. I'm rather unsure of what my next post should be. I guess it could be Aura related, but I don't know. I'm pretending Benny went off on a trip with Boris because I feel a bit scared to post on Instagram about Orendi. I mean, I will eventually, but I'm curious. Also, Abaddon exists. Okay, here we go. If you were a library book, I would check you out. I'm going to punch you. Oh, and she did. I'm not reading that one. I'm not reading that one. Ah, no, stop. Why is he so cute? I'm not stuttering. I'm not going to pretend to stutter. I won't let you replace Aura's boyfriend. Okay, dude, shut up. Ew, No! Get out. I love his stupid hair. He's so ugly. He's so crusty. For context for that first story, my account got banned, and I thought it was because I was posting fan art. It wasn't. I got banned because I was editing my post to have a certain hashtag, so they thought I was a bot. Abby's first introduction is him getting punched for being a creep. Deserved, honestly. That pickup line was disgusting. His whole personality back then was that he liked Aura and was a weirdo about it. Like, full-on creepy stalker obsessive guy. He would literally harass her any chance he got. Thankfully, he is not anymore. Now he's an uptight, prim and proper kind of guy who is respectful but also awkward, pathetic, and gets nervous around pretty women. Also, he's rich. You know, just a fun fact. And to match the new personality, his outfit is supposed to be more formal, but worn loosely because he likes to move around. I changed his horns and eyes too. I liked the black square a lot, but I kind of found him cuter like this. He's got gold on everywhere, even on his fake horn. He had to stress the fact that he's got money. Guys, come on. Random, but I remember one of my friends said he looked like a hell of a boss OC, and I started to tweak. I'm not even gonna lie. It's mainly why I changed his horns. Abby is an alchemist, but he is much more gifted in using magic spells. I won't be able to explain my magic system in this video because it's complicated and unfinished, but to be blunt, Abby can use spells that are more advanced for someone his age. Usually no one is born with the ability to use magic off the bat. You have to train and study for it. Abby uses a book and reads off spells to use, but he's very versatile. While normally someone learns one kind of spell and builds off of that. It's very confusing. One day I'll explain it better. I added some potions on his hip because he'd most likely be carrying around some stuff to protect himself if he fails to cast a spell. He's not a very great fighter. He'd probably get beaten up pretty fast. He is also the group's temporary medic, but he is not very good at doing that either. So he's filling in until they find someone who is more experienced in that region. Abby is also really close to Aura, Jay, and Calder. He met Calder first. They are literally besties, and Calder introduced him to Aura and Jay. He thinks Jay is kind of scary, but cool. And for Aura, well, he really likes her. He likes her so much that he allows the team to basically use him as a live piggy bank. He's so pathetic, oh my god. Okay, well, only for Aura did she let them do that, but that doesn't make him any less pathetic. The other two get allowances from him. His opinion on her being a Stygian soldier and having those abilities is complicated. He wasn't aware that she had them when they became friends, and he's against her using them in case it actually does cause her to go rogue. Mind you, that's just what everyone says. No one's actually seen it, at least no one they know. Abaddon is very rich and has a rich family, so he's fine spending money on supplies or whatever Aura wants. I really love how Abaddon came out. He is my favorite out of everyone here. Also, I did change his height. I'm not keeping him 4'8". That's so funny. He is now a healthy 5 feet and 4 inches. Like Calder, Abby's backstory isn't well written at all, but I'll tell you the details of what I am planning on keeping. Abby's family had always been on shaky ground. His father and mother fell out of love and parted soon after, when he was little. His father went on to marry another man who already had his own child, a baby girl. Abaddon's childhood was pretty much great from here on out, besides the occasional arguments his stepsister's dad had with her mother. Divorce is traumatic, but Abaddon never had that kind of experience since his parents still really loved him and made much effort to be in his life even after they separated. He loves his dads a lot too, and they usually provide funding for him when he goes off on his journey. Plus, he's close with his stepsister as well, even if she's always been a handful. When offered to go on a journey with Aura and her friends, he is very hesitant. He doesn't want to leave his home and go on a dangerous adventure. He had his work, future plans, maybe even buying a house and starting a family. Eventually though, he's convinced by his dads to explore the world and learn more about its history. He's a huge nerd and finds that stuff super cool. This could be his one opportunity to study things no one else could. So on the last minute, he jumped to travel around with Calder and their 2 new friends.
You won't make it out there on the road. That's where they catch you and take you to the pound. Look at Snowbell. He hates me. And still, he's trying to save me. What are you doing? Oh, I swim pretty girl. Pretty good, pretty good. Good, swim good, pretty good. I swim pretty good.
So with that, I've officially redesigned all 4 of my main characters. Yay! To be honest, this was more of a recostuming. They barely changed physically. It's okay. I feel relieved that I could get them more established. I don't know if that's the right word. My body, it hurts. And my throat hurts a lot from talking so much. These 4 have had it coming for a really long time. Originally, this video had much more lore about Dyeantria and the world they live in, but honestly, I still need to take that step back and rework it completely too. I wanted to make this video because anytime my friends ask me for some OC lore and calls, I get really nervous because I know my answer might change and I can't explain anything without writing it down first. To my friends, I hope you have a better understanding of these OCs, and or specifically. I hope this was enjoyable maybe. These OCs will be reoccurring in the future. I might share some more little bits of lore, so stick around if you like any of them. While I show the art in this video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. Yay! That's so many people for my first video, which I hate now. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys so much. I loved reading all the comments, and I feel like I gotta mention something just to let people know. I did notice a few people were referring to me with feminine pronouns. No one really knew. It was my first video, so I'm not offended, but if you guys could please refer to me by non-binary pronouns, I'd really appreciate that very much. And if you feel like you want to correct anyone who gets them wrong, please be gentle about it. I know some people who do that. I just like people to be nice because not everyone knows. Part 2 of my FNAF OCs video will come out someday because there is still so much I didn't even begin to explain, and a few characters I skipped over. Let me also explain why I suddenly disappeared for pretty much this whole year. So I had edited and exported my very first video on this channel using my 5-year-old iPad, which is very old, very broken, did not have any more space. It had me deleting half my photos and apps to even get it exported. It was lagging so badly. I was saving up money to buy a PC, that's why it took me so long. Now that I have my PC, I believe I'll be making more videos next year. Don't you worry, I will not leave for like 10 months, I promise. I don't have a schedule or anything, I'm just gonna be trying out a lot of stuff. I already have a new video in the works, which will be disgustingly embarrassing for me. Here is a clue as to what it's about. Yeah. Hi, Editing Omega here. So change of plans with that amino thing. It seems that amino is down right now. Great. What I wanted. And I won't be able to record what I wanted to with amino. So hopefully it comes back up. I'm not sure. As of recording, it's not up, so I'm so sad. I was really hoping to go through it, but I guess not. Oh well. Maybe I hope it comes back up just so I can record that video. Anyway, that's all. Thanks so much for staying. Like, dislike, please comment, subscribe, or don't. It's whatever. Suggest more video ideas for the future because I need them. I'll be back someday. Good night.